Okay, so these are the math boxes that I asked you to work on from yesterday. I'm going to make them a little bigger so you can see them better. Taking a look at this first one, it says, find the measure of angle R. Do not use a protractor. So here's what we know. When you look at this angle right here, we've got, what kind of angle is that? It's a right angle, and we know that right angles equal 90 degrees. So we know that our equation with an unknown is going to equal 90 degrees. We also know that this angle right here doesn't have a name. We know that that one equals 50 degrees. And 50 plus this is going to equal 90. So your equation with unknown should have been 50 plus R equals 90. Now I also would have accepted 90 minus 50 equals R. That could have also been acceptable, or R plus 50 equals 90. Those are all options that you could have had. Suppose you could add 90 minus R equals 50 as well. So what we need to figure out is what plus 50 equals 90. Probably the easiest way to do that would be to just go 90 minus 50. 0 minus 0 is 0. 9 minus 5 is 4. Your answer for this first one should have been 40 degrees. Okay, this one was exactly the skill that you were working on today. It says use a picture or number model to show how to solve this problem. It takes a half a cup of salt to make one batch of salt dough. How much salt is needed to make 5 batches? So we take the fraction, which is 1/2. We multiply that by 5. But when we do that, we got to make the 5 a fraction, so we put 5 over 1. Okay, if you were stuck, always remember, if you're stuck on these and you start to have an idea of what to do, pause it and try it before you just write in the answer. We need to multiply straight across to get our numerator and denominator. 1 times 5 is 5, and 2 times 1 is 2. Now 5/2 is a good answer, but we talked about in the lesson yesterday that a better answer is to take that 5/2 and, because it's an improper fraction, try and make that into a mixed number. So we put the 5 in here, we go 5 divided by 2. And our thought process is we're trying to multiply and get as close to 5 as we can, so we go, what times 2 equals 5? 2 times 2 gets us close, gets us 4. And then we subtract. 5 minus 4 is 1. When the remainder is smaller than the divisor, you are done. Your whole number is a 2, your numerator is a 1, and your denominator is a 1/2. So 5/2 or 2 1/2 cups. Remember we talked about what two numbers is this between? The first number is always the whole number in your answer. If this is on a number line, it is bigger than 2. The other number is just the one that you haven't gotten to yet. If it's bigger than 2, it's not yet 3. So your answer should have been 2 1/2, and then it's between 2 and 3. All right. Moving right along. Box 3. Subtracting fractions. Now the first thing that you could do on all of these is put in your denominators. You might be able to make this one a little bit bigger, make it all fit. See? Yeah, perfect. All right. So the first thing you can do is just put in your denominators, because you know that they're going to be the same all the way across. Tenths, fourths, eighths, thirds. And now what you can think about is 2 minus something is 1. Well, 2 minus 1 is 1. Then here you have 7 minus 3. That's just a normal subtraction problem at this point. 7 minus 3 is 4. Now this one, you kind of got to think, if I had this many and took away 2, what would get me 6? Or what you can do is you can add going back this way. 6 plus 2 is 8. Check your answer by just solving the problem. 8 minus 2 is 6. In here, 4 minus something gets you 3. Should have had a 1. Alright, you can't really use the protractor to draw that. If you have a protractor at home, you can even check that just by measuring it with your protractor to give you a little more help. Is a 65-degree angle acute or obtuse? And of course, you should have put down that it is acute, because an acute angle is got to be greater than 0 degrees, but less than 90 degrees. And 65 is in between that. Over here, partial quotient division. What I would have done is I just would have put my thing down the side like that. And then if you look, you always look at the first number here. And you think, can 4 go into 6? Well, sure it can. It can go in there one time. Now we're only working with the 6 right now because the 6 is bigger than the 4. Yes, it's 600, but remember this trick. 4 times 1 is 4, and put in your zeros. However many zeros you add here, that's how many zeros you have to add there. And then you can subtract. 8 minus 0 is 8. 2 minus 0 is 2. 6 minus 4 is 2. Can 4 go into 2? No. So we're going to see how many 4s can go into 22. You can't do another 100. But 4 times, I do know that 4 times 5 is 20. Okay? 4 times 5 is 20. Put a 0 where there's no, or where it's empty, and put a 0 there. And we can subtract again. 8 minus 0 is 8. 2 minus 0 is 2. Now we're thinking, how many 4s can go into 28? And 4 times 7 is 28. We got no remainder here. We're done. We add up the side. Your answer for this first one should have been 157. Taking a look at this other one, you ask yourself, how many 7s can go into 8? 1. 7 times 1 is 7. You put in your zeros. And subtract. See now why this works. 7 times 100 is 700. 3 minus 0 is 3. 3 minus 0 is 3. 8 minus 7 is 1. So now, we're trying to figure out how many 7s can go into 133. We can't go 7 into 1, so we got to try and think, how many 7s can go into 13? And the answer is only 1. 7 times 1 is 7. It's got to go there because this would be like your 1s if you were thinking about a 13. Put a 0 there and a 0 there. 7 times 10 is 70. And subtract. 3 minus 0 is 3. Okay, 13 minus 7 is 6. Now we're thinking, what times 7 equals 63? And you might have to work your way up there, but it should have been another 9. Here's how you can figure that out. Whenever you're doing 7 times, or anything times a 9, you cover up the 9. What's 1 less than 7? That's 6. The next number should help it add up to 9. 6 plus 3 is 9, and you get a 0. The answer here would be 100, 110, 119. Should have gotten 119 then. And last but certainly not least is number 6. Ray and Jenny shared a slab of clay. Ray used 5/8 of the clay and Jenny used 3/8. Which model shows how much of the clay they used together? Circle the best answer. If we want to know all together, it's not division. We're not splitting it up. They are if there's 8 ace and I take 5 ace, or Ray takes 5 ace and Jenny takes 3 ace, you could add that up. This was your best answer to solve it. This one you're multiplying, you're not getting more clay, and you're not giving away clay here. It's not, we had 5 ace and gave away 3 ace. So your answer here should have been B. All right, those are your math boxes for today. Stay tuned for your actual lesson later on.